All right, I've got it, but basically all of it printed now. Bloody did my head in because I had a few failures. So before I butted all this together, I thought I'll talk about the design and the difference between the 4th order and the 6th order. So this was the Fibonacci 4th order, if anybody remembers it. Basically, it was an enclosure that I had designed. I think I've got the top sealed at the moment, yep. So the woofer mounts in here, and then there was a top for it that would get sealed, and then this enclosure would go into the next enclosure, which had a little sort of port opening as well. And then this mouth here was determined by the Fibonacci sequence, and that's why we call it Fibonacci. Now this is a 4th order because this is a sealed enclosure. So this particular enclosure becomes the 6th order because what it does, it allows for a port in the other chamber, the back chamber, which I've got it upside down. There you go. You can see it this way. So basically these two here will meet together. Let me turn this. So this, before I move on, this particular enclosure I actually submitted was a small scale. It was for a little woofer. I think it was a 2-inch or 3-inch, 2-inch. I submitted it for a YouTuber called Boom and Bust, and it was a part of an experiment to see who could be the loudest in terms of enclosure. And funny enough, it ended up being a great performer. In fact, probably the loudest ones out of all the enclosures that were submitted. So which sort of gave me a bit of data from that in terms of that the horns actually do play a role in terms of making it louder. Now, I'm not sure what effect it does with frequency, and that's why I'm taking this to a bigger scale to see how it actually responds with the energy of the car too, being printed now in plastic. I do plan probably to resin these anyway to make them stronger and keep the woofer mount properly. But that's the gist of the 4th order. The 6th order, which is a very similar idea to the Cyclone, if you remember the old Cyclone. So let me turn this around. That's the front of it, and basically these two here meet together. And in this particular design you'll see that I've got holes so I can run rods through it and sort of clamp everything together. This was the first print, so I've got another one printing at the moment. And then basically with this you can tune this in a sense that at the moment from here to all the way to here, it's approximately about 1 meter. So you've got 1 meter to play with in terms of port. So in this case I've gone to 650 and maybe a little bit less, I think. And that was going off the specs of the particular woofer I'm using in this particular experiment, which is the IDF Image Dynamics. And they sort of work at 1.2 cubic feet at a ported enclosure. I think it's 45 hertz. So I'm going with those parameters. And so if you need to make this thicker, you can. But I'm limited with the GTR, so I can only make this opening thus what it is. And what I do here is to come into the cabin of the car, I'll be using the Fibonacci sequence again to work out the true curve of what the sound wave will be coming out. I just don't want to create a curve here and then sort of miss the whole point of what I'm trying to do. I want to be able to use the those ratios to give it the perfect exit without that shuffle noise, of port noise. And then, I don't know how these are going to perform, what sort of noise these are going to make, but basically from this side of the enclosure, it'll come in. The port will come in through here, exit into the little entry there. That's an inside version there. Comes down the port and then exits out. And so they come in phase together. That's the whole idea. So this is where the bit that I have to play with and how the wave is going to affect it. So then within this design, I can attach now an enclosure, I guess, to it. I can leave a free air and sort of leave this sealed like an infra baffle sort of setup. But look, I plan to do an enclosure for this, and just I'm going to aim for dB. So, you know, the frequency allowable is 60 hertz, I think it is. So I'm going to go in a higher. Plus, I'm not a low guy, I'm more of a rock guy. So in the 45, 50 hertz, 55, if it's doing well, I'm going to be happy. Being a bandpass, it should be able to play all those frequencies anyway. But with this sort of design, I'm just trying to be compact and I guess have fun with the 3D printer more importantly. I mean, I did attempt to do this with a laser, and at the end of the day, I'm not sort of that keen on sanding and doing all that old school fabrication again. I just want to keep it 3D printing for me. So I'll show a little video of what it is going to fit like in a car, and then I can move on to the next stage of the build. So this is the 6-inch version I have. So this evolved from the Fibonacci 4th order. Just now putting the actual front part of it. Now you can start to see the horn side of it, and how sort of the sound wave sort of compresses and then just opens up into this massive horn. So I'll 3D print all this, but I'm just exploring with paper at the moment, my angles. That's the sort of opening I have. It's not a big opening in the GTR, so I have to sort of stay within that parameters. So I've put the back panel, that's the actual hole that I have. Oh, fit it in nicely. I did a few cuts like I did on this side, and I've got a little bit of room in there for the wiring too. Solid as a rock. I'm going to put some more layers on this one, but even that's still strong as. So I've cut out another piece now that goes on top of this plastic. This will be I guess the enclosure sides. I just have to fix up some of these as well with a bit of fiberglass after. But there. I'm at this stage now where I've fiberglassed this side as well, I've just connected them together for now. All right, I've put that in. That seemed to fit beautifully. Actually, perfect fit. This is what it looks like from inside now. That fitted in beautifully, that little mod that I did. Now I can actually start measuring this bit here and start working on this port. I can actually get final measurements and start designing it on a 3D printer.
Pulled up, made my appearance. You can't sit with us without clearance. That lame shit, never let it near us. And your girl will choose my team cause you still living with your parents. Flexing on the gram with your paycheck. Stop showing off them bills you ain't paid yet. Couture 101, this ain't made yet. My gang never plain like we came off the same jet. I'ma need a section cause we tryna make them bottles pop. Shawty see the team and how we drippin', made a body rock. Told the DJ play my shit cause I know that we got a bop. But I ain't finna pass it, I'ma flip it, bitch, we got it locked. Tryna gas me up but she could barely move the needle. Hoppers always hating cause they tryna do what we do. I know I'ma make it cause I need to. Feeling like Sean, I'm the Don. She do. Hopped out the whip, call up a valet. The way I be spending this money, you look like a ballet. Told her she could meet me at the chalet. Bring her friends from the valley like we going back to Cali. Never stressing, just addressing bankrolls. Sipping on tequila, counting pesos. Never catch me public with the same clothes. The top is where my name goes. You can check the listing while you chillin' with them lame-os.